Good everyone, on today's video today we have a updated premium review on the B1 Ter. And I'm not saying the French name, even though I took French as one of my GCSEs. I got a G. Trust me, you don't want to know. So the B1 Ter is a pretty well-known French tank for a bit of seal clubbing. Let's be real, the French low-tier experience isn't exactly fun in this day and age. And they definitely did need something that brings something to the table. And this thing brings quite a few things to the table. So, obviously, the main selling point about this thing is the armor. This tank is better in most areas than a regular B1 Biz. The turret, however, is exactly the same. So, if you're able to penetrate the turret on a Biz, you're able to penetrate the turret on a Ter. But obviously, if the driver's playing it right, you might not even get the penta turret at all, so it can be quite challenging taking one of these things down. So the B1 Ter comes in at 1300 golden eagles, but obviously it does come as part of the Germans, or not the German, it's because I've not long done the SDKFC 140 re-review. It does come in with the French starter pack, which as I said, it has lost a bit of its touch, but now that the tank is 2.7, it fits perfectly with the premium aircraft that you get in that pack, which is the P-40F Lafayette. Obviously, I will be doing a re-review, or a review of all the starter packs, where I put them into a tier list. I will be doing that at some point, but obviously I want to get all the re-reviews done first, get the new Chinese starter pack out, the updated review on the German pack out, and go from there, really. That's how it's going to be done. But anyway, back to the tank. So this tank does have two guns for the player to use. On the Biz, this gun here is fixed, pretty much. It only moves like 1 degree, if I remember rightly. But on this thing, it can move a few degrees to the left and right. And obviously, you do have the 47mm at the top, which you should be familiar with. So the frontal armor of this tank is 70mm thick. There are some flat spots, so this is why I recommend angling this tank. A lot of tanks at this tier can easily penetrate 70mm of armor, and as a result, it does make a huge difference when it comes to dealing with actual enemy tanks, because something like a Stuart can even penetrate the front of this thing if you're not angled, so you really need to be careful, and as a result, angle your armor with the hull gun actually facing away from your opponent. The only time you should bring your hull gun towards the opponent is if they have a long reload and your 47 just ain't cutting the mustard, but the 75 will. So the turret armor is exactly the same as the B1 Biz, with around 56 in most areas. You can penetrate up here with a APHE round, but some B1 drivers like to cover this up with a bush or two, so getting this shot in may not always be reliable. You did used to have a turret wing weak spot, but unfortunately this isn't as effective anymore, so I wouldn't rely on this. Obviously the side armor, which is quite strong for a 2.7 tank, is a wide range of thicknesses. This lower part here might seem like a weak spot, but you've got to remember there's another 20mm behind that, plus all the various different drive wheels and parts of the suspension. So this may not necessarily be a good shot. Additionally, you're unlikely to hit ammunition because the ammunition racks are quite small, and if you do hit a crew member, it's probably going to be this poor sod right here. Going around to the back of the tank, it's unchanged from a B1, with 55mm being there and 55mm being there. On top of the tank, you have 25mm on the hull, with the turret having 30 on the top, but there are some spots which are only 8, so these are quite effective if you're dealing with a B1 Ter from above. You can easily go down, take out the loader, and take out the engine. Overall, the armor is actually not that bad. I mean, well, I say not that bad. I mean, it's ridiculous compared to some of the things you're going to meet at this tier. Now, another tank that you will run into is the American M4A3 105 Sherman. That thing can crack you like an egg, and you can't crack it unless you're coming from the side. The main reason for that is due to the B1 Ter's guns, which they're not great, but they do deal with most targets perfectly fine. At distance, you will struggle against things like Panzers, and obviously the only way to kill an M4A3 105 is if you hit the side of the hull with the 75 or the 47 accordingly. So the main shells on the 47 is a APC round, which has pretty mediocre penetration at 62 millimeters at 10 meters. This is amazing, and don't believe what the stat card there is showing you, because I think it's showing the APHE one. In fact, no, it's not. It's just me being daft. You also do get a HE round, but I don't recommend carrying this. The 75mm is a bit more interesting though. Whilst it has lower penetration, it does have an armor-piercing high explosive round, which is very useful. I would recommend around 20 rounds of this. And of course, the HE round, I mean, you could bring some of the 75 HE, but for most light targets, the 7.5 coax is more than enough. Going into the mobility of the tank, it remains unchanged from when I first reviewed it, with a top speed of 19 miles an hour forwards and 2.5 backwards. The engine is only 350 horsepower, which may seem good, but you've got to remember this is a 36.6 ton tank. The mobility does take some time to get used to, but at least it's more reactive than some of the Italian tanks that you may have met in your battles for this thing. Overall, I do think this is a pretty good solid tank, and at 1300 G separately, whilst it is a little steep, it is certainly a very good vehicle to pick up, and can certainly clap some cheeks if you angle the armor. And as you're going to see in this match, even though I'm half asleep when I did this match, it absolutely claps because you can just angle the armor and not a lot can get through this armor. Let's put it that way. I'm going to hand you over to the gameplay now. I hope you enjoyed today's re-review on the B1 Ter. It's just me in this gameplay, and I will see you all on the next one. Well, normally I wouldn't push this side. I'd normally go towards the sea point and the like. But, you know, sometimes it's good to have a bit of change. Like, you know, using a B1 Ter to charge the A point at full speed. I thought that would have taken out the gearbox, but apparently not. I think I got his driver. Yes, I did. I'm surprised I didn't kill him with the 75. See, this is why I shouldn't rely on teammates too much, should I? That, and I also need my caffeine, but, you know. One thing at a time. There we go. I can hear a 20 mil. I think it just got taken out there, that's fine. Yeah, I haven't had my morning caffeine, so I'm very sleepy. Oh, good God, I don't want to deal with that. That's an M4A3. I really don't want to deal with that. And for anyone else, no, I do not have a clue what Pierre just said. Because I don't speak French. I did actually learn French, but let's not talk about my grade. Thank you, buddy. Bomb. He's got to be in these bushes then, I'd assume. A little bit too low, that's fine. Yeah, you're not going to penetrate the front of this thing with that gun. And apparently I can't penetrate the front of him with this gun. Yeah, there he is. There we go. Not going to waste the main gun round, I'm going to just MG him. Panzer 3 moving up there. I can hear some to the right, yep. Target undamaged. Yep. Again, you're not just going to hit the side of this thing and penetrate. You need to aim properly, my friend. Yeah, that'll do it. I think I hit him pretty good, but I'm not sure. Just gonna do a bit of wiggling. Thank you. See, wiggle wiggle. Makes a big difference. Now where's that Stuart gone? I think I'm being flanked to the left by him. Yeah, I'm being a bit too big for my boots here, unfortunately. And obviously with a wounded Pierre at the controls of the vehicle, it is not exactly stellar. Right, he's dead, that's good. Let's see if we can push this guy. That's his front, okay. A good penetration, but unfortunately not enough. And finish him off with the 75. Job done. See, even when you're half asleep, sometimes this thing just absolutely claps. Oh, that's clear. Obviously, we've got a wounded Pierre at the controls, so we are not as mobile. There's some tanks to our right, which we're going to try and push. I think he's dead though. I think that's just going to piss him off. Well, there goes the driver at least. Rotate to the left, Pierre. It's a Panzer IV in the bush line over there. Let's elevate to 75. Right, it's a bit further back than I thought. 47. 75. Yeah, he's angled. I'm not going to be able to... I don't think I'm going to be able to penetrate him at this range. One more shot to 75. Nope, teammate got him, that's fine. Right, angle up, that's a stug. Not going to be able to penetrate that either. See, you will meet quite a few vehicles that you simply can't pen. Which is a bit frustrating, but unfortunately I have to deal with that. A little bit too low, and even then, he's on swarm protection at the moment. So I'm going to elevate to 75. Oh! See, this thing can take an absolute pounding. It's kind of ridiculous how much damage this thing can absorb. Right, he's angled, so the only chance we have is potentially a turret front shot. 47 is not the most accurate gun. Okay, looks like we can't even go through there at all. I would obviously smoke up or something like that, but he's just shooting me in the track over and over again, and I can't exactly do a lot about it, but, you know. Maybe I'll grow bored, I don't know. Because I don't want to sit here, I want to go and try and get to the B point. But obviously until he's gone, I can't exactly go anywhere. Non-penetration. Let's try with the 75. Nope, now we've been hit from the left. Stuart! Don't scratch my paintwork. This is Papa de Gaulle. I think we're clear to push this guy anyway. Let's get a move on. Come on, Pierre. Let's get rolling. And yes, I know that's a very stereotypical French name, but I name all my crew with a stereotype in a way. From the various different nations. And he's dead. But yeah, that just gives you an idea of how much of a pounding this thing can take. Obviously, against stuff like Panzer IV F2s, if they just find your weak spot, or like you're not angled, they will kill you instantly. But something like the Panzer IV F1, as long as you're angled, you should be mostly fine. I don't know if I'm going to get there in time, and obviously there's a Puma on the cap, which, again, is one of those vehicles that it can kill you, but you have to be unangled for it to do that. I think he's just behind that house. Never mind, he just got nuked. Anything else, buddy? Oh, yep, right there. Critical hit, gunner. That was just a guess shot. Can't really afford to stop though. We need to get moving. I know it's painful, Pierre, but we need to push through. Come on. That's a biplane, okay. Nothing too concerning. This has been quite a fun match, I will admit, but at the same time, it just goes to show how dumb this thing can be. I don't think it's as good as it used to be, because obviously it's going to meet a lot more tanks that it struggles to penetrate. But most tanks suffer with that nowadays. I think he's buggered off, but I'm going to keep my armour this side. Yeah, there he is. In the tree line. I think I just got his gearbox. Yes, I did. I thought I'd kill him with a 75. I aimed too low. That's okay. Right, they're on the A point. Let's make our way over there. Might be able to help our teammate here. Hold on. Yeah, fire the 7.5. Oh god, what was that? We just lost our driver to a Puma. Yep, we're dead. Never mind. That's a pretty good run and goes to perfectly show how much of a pounding this thing can take. But if you get flanked or someone gets an easy shot on your front, yeah, don't expect to survive long. Especially stuff like Pumas.